So, hi everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Yotewo podcast. Today we have our two guests, founders of CaseCraft.AI, Alexander and Ruslan.
Hi.
First of all, thank you so much for coming. I'm honored to have you as a guest.
Good to be here.
Thank you. Maybe let's start with a bit of background. Maybe can you introduce yourself and the project?
Yeah, okay. Alexander, me? Okay. So my name is Ruslan. I'm a managing partner of Sterling Law and now co-founder of CaseCraft. And what was the question?
Just your background. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So yeah, I've been a managing partner of Sterling Law for about 16 years. And mainly I'm involved in managing the firm, lawyers, solicitors that we employ. Currently, we are over 60 fee earners in the firm. We're a Legal 500 firm, and we operate in a niche, which we will talk about later, I think.
Yeah.
And my legal career spans over, I think, 20 years in the UK.
Oh, amazing. Alexander, what about you?
Yeah, my background is even more boring, I think. So I'm by trade I'm debt capital specialist. I spent approximately 16, 17 years doing this.
Yeah.
I've been involved in dealing with different distressed credit situations. That's one of the reasons why I, to some extent, started to understand how the system of justice in the UK works.
Yeah.
Because inevitably you have to deal with the courts, etc. So, and also, I mean, from the personal standpoint, I also came through a couple of arbitrations and litigations. So, and that's why I made a lot of friends in the legal industry.
Yeah.
And that's how I know Ruslan.
Nice. That's amazing. So actually, yeah, you touched point on arbitration. So my next question is, tell us the story behind CaseCraft. Where did you see the problem? Maybe if you can get into a bit more details of like how you came up with the idea, how it started.
So essentially, just a bit of the background. I would reverse the question a little bit, because we have been discussing different opportunities how to deploy this amazing AI technology in the legal industry, which sounded absolutely rational thing to do. So because like AI has been my hobby for quite some time now.
Yeah.
And Ruslan is and other co-founders, they tend to be on top of things. And when ChatGPT came to play, we were all fascinated with that absolutely amazing technology and essentially got together. First of all, I started talking to Ruslan saying, look, mate, we need to do something in the in legal industry. AI is definitely going to make a change.
Yeah.
Then Ruslan essentially brought in Michael, who is our third co-founder and who is Ruslan's founder and heading the arbitration litigation practice at Sterling Law.
Yeah.
And I brought in Dmitry Bagrov, who is a personal friend of mine and also managing director of Data Art UK.
Mm-hmm.
So and that's how the dialogue started. I think we started off with, I think, immigration, right?
Yeah.
And then we bounced like 4 or 5 different ideas, and then essentially landed with small claims.
Yes, as a managing partner of a law firm, I think my approach was a little bit more pragmatic. I wanted to resolve the issues that lawyers and our law firm face on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And I think mainly that's case management, collection of evidence, compiling documents, making good case. And at the moment, legal industry is very fragmented and all the processes and workflows are also fragmented. And my vision was to build some system that will automate processes and remove the boring stuff and make lawyers do what they like.
Yeah.
And all the
What do they like, by the way?
Yeah.
lawyers like advising and they like making strategy for clients and finding solutions. I think that's the most important thing that the lawyers do. But unfortunately, because of the way the system works, we are also involved in a lot of administration. And the purpose of the platform is to simplify the processes and make the small claims accessible for everybody, not just lawyers. And I think as a managing partner, I realized where the issues are and I have a vision how to automate. I've been trying to streamline processes within the firm for many, many years, and AI seems to be a perfect solution. And I think my conversation with Alexander was in the right place at the right time, and here we are.
Yeah, that's amazing. Can you tell a bit more about specific ops, like small claims? Like what exactly, like how is it different from, other process? Like why exactly small claims?
A lot of big law firms overlook small claims because they are not high value enough. And with the removal of legal aid in 2012 in many areas, and with the fact that a lot of lawyers in the UK are simply not affordable for the wider population, the sector or this particular niche became unattended to, if I can put it this way. I think it created a lot of opportunities, not just in B2C segment, but also in B2B. I will talk about it maybe later after Alexander.
Yeah, so essentially small claims is a separate track in the UK system of justice, and many people and businesses just don't really know that you cannot claim back your legal expenses in the small claims courts.
Okay.
So that's why, so essentially, if let's assume the average rate of a lawyer in the city of London is, say, 150, 175
more than that
pounds. I mean, that smaller amount. And if that person is going to help you with your small claim, and the average small claims size is 1,500 pounds.
Okay.
So let's say even if the lawyer will spend, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 hours, I mean, essentially half of your claim is gone.
Not viable anymore.
And independently of your success, which is, I think, crucial. And that's why we have discussed it from the outset that we will be working on the success basis, or the majority of the money we will be charging our users will depend on their success, whether it's settlement or the positive judgment in their favor.
Yeah, nice.
So we've identified those flaws in the process that currently exist, and we've identified a huge market. And we essentially came up with a solution for access to justice for millions of people who cannot afford the fees for the reasons that Alexander mentioned. And thanks to AI and thanks to the platform that we designed with simplicity in mind, we will provide that access to justice to millions of consumers, and also to businesses who on many occasions have to write off a lot of debt simply because they cannot afford to spend time and money chasing the debtors when the money is due.
Yeah, makes sense. So it's both B2C, B2B, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but we're starting with B2C because, like, I mean, in this particular case, these small, medium-sized businesses who are hopefully going to use our platform, they're end client. So it's, I mean, we're starting off with B2C model, and then hopefully once, and if we're successful in that niche, we will shift to B2B solution as well.
Yeah, nice. So essentially democratizing the whole thing, also via monetization, like new, essentially innovative model for monetization.
Yeah, that's our purpose, that's our aim. And I think in the next 5 years, our aim is to democratize the legal market, not just in the UK, but in other jurisdictions as well, and make the small claims accessible to the wider population.
Okay, that's amazing. Okay, we'll also touch point on the long-term plans a bit further down the road. The next question is to Alexander. So you're, in my vision, you're a strategic leader of the company who's leading the commercial and operational side of the things. Can you tell me how you applied your background to shaping this company?
Yeah, look, first of all, I wouldn't call myself like the strategic leader.
Okay.
I would say that we share this responsibility.
Okay.
I'm just the guy responsible for finance and operations.
Okay.
And also for investor relations, and to some extent product development.
Yeah.
I used to do finance and operations for many years. I used to run my own company where I was responsible for finance and operations. It was investment management company.
Yeah.
So I'm relatively experienced in that department. That's why when we were discussing what exactly are we bringing to the table, that was quite a rational thing for me to offer from my side.
Yeah, interesting. Did investor relations differ a lot in like when you run investment manager, like kind of more traditional conservative company or startup?
Yeah, that's one of the things which I'm really fascinated about. It's a completely different crowd.
Yeah,
So I used to run a company which was managing emerging markets higher corporate debt fund.
yeah,
So you normally speak to large single or multi-family offices. You're trying to get to the big boys like insurance companies,
yeah,
fund of funds, etc. And that's a very interesting industry. Don't get me wrong, but I mean in venture capital that's a completely different landscape,
yeah,
different people, much more chilled, much less regulated, more focused. I believe on the relationships and the
sure.
personalities of the founders and investors, etc.
Yeah,
So let's put it this way: much more chemistry
yeah,
in venture capital business rather than in say corporate debt.
yeah.
Um,
Nice.
and I enjoy it. I enjoy it. It's a really lovely thing, and I'm meeting a lot of new people.
Yeah,
Really great guys. Very focused on what they're doing. Very inspirational experience for me, I would say,
that's great. That's
including you, Alex. By the way,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I'm grateful. I'm honored to hear that. That's great. Okay, I have one quick question, then we'll get to the fundraising bit. So one quick question is like I was just personally wondering because you cover both sides of the product, is it easier to build Casecraft technically with AI, or is it easier to actually make it legally viable? So like make it according to the regulations, so it actually has its place in the market.
I
What would you say was bigger
think
of a problem?
not I think I think 100% it's easier to build it technically.
Yeah,
With the right team, you can build the product. I would say any product these days within 6 to 9 months.
yeah,
But legal expertise is very nuanced, and legal processes, procedure especially,
yeah,
requires not just knowledge but experience and also intuition. And it needs to come from lawyers,
yeah,
and to convince lawyers in some sort of tech product requires a lot of energy, and to build their trust in the product
yeah,
also requires a lot of convincing.
yeah. That's true.
So I think definitely technically it's easier,
Yeah,
but luckily we have a strategic partnership with Sterling Law,
yeah,
and that partnership allowed us to test the product on the battlefield firsthand. And once lawyers got the hand of it, they realized the benefit, and they now are eager to transmit this
that's amazing.
knowledge and energy and motivation to consumers.
Yeah,
So I think we're on the right track. But
yeah,
once again, technical solution can be built pretty fast, but legal expertise requires a team of lawyers
yeah,
and a lot of nuances.
yeah,
But I think one doesn't live without the other. So I mean,
yeah,
once you have a technical solution, you need to test it properly. You need to, make sure that all the procedures are followed, all the CPRs, etc., which is a big deal, and that's why you have to have a robust IT team, developers, and you have to have lawyers on the other side who will be using it on a regular basis and say what they like and what they don't like about the
yeah.
system.
That's true.
Well,
Constant feedback.
CPR, if our viewers don't know
Yeah,
what this is, it's civil procedure rules, can seem to be algorithmic and really easy to adapt to a technical product. But it's not only about CPR, it's
yeah,
also about relationship with the client, and also
exactly.
it's about perception of a client of who is right, who is wrong, and explaining what kind of evidence is required and all the
Exactly.
nuances of a case, and how to deal with the other side, how to reach settlement. So a lot of human work is involved.
Of course.
And that is a difficult part because it's not always possible to adapted to an algorithm.
Of course.
Therefore, I still think that legal part is more difficult
Yeah.
than technical part.
Of course, yeah. And perhaps like the cooperation itself with the government, because this is something that the government at the end of the day is dealing with. So it's also like in the UK a very conservative kind of party.
Yeah, of course, Ruslan thinks that being a lawyer. I mean, lawyers always convincing us that what they're doing that has some certain magic in there. But I think if he were a developer, he would have said otherwise.
Yeah. No, I mean, of course, both things are important. It's just I was interested because like legal in the UK is still very
You know,
back there.
I will respond to Alexander here. That's exactly why AI will never kill lawyers.
Yeah.
Never ever AI will be able to replace how the lawyers work. Maybe it will enhance the way we do
Exactly.
things and will make things easier and quicker for
Yeah.
lawyers. But we still deal with people, we still deal with emotions, and most importantly, trust.
Yeah, 100%.
So Alexander may have his opinion, but
Which I do.
Yeah. No, okay, that's fair enough. Okay, amazing. Let's switch to the fundraising bit. So you guys just closed the round. So my congratulations on that.
thank you.
Can you
Wait a second, guys.
Yeah.
Wait a second.
Step back, yeah?
Yeah, step back. We haven't yet finished the round.
Oh, okay.
So we're,
Still
we're
open.
yeah, we're still open. We with closing 2 more investors, I think we will be. I mean, depending on what decision the second one will take, but I think we might have something like 25-30K left in the round.
Okay.
Yeah, but
was a
well,
bit-
almost finished.
Yeah, almost finished. Okay, interesting. So yeah, tell us, like, I'm interested in specifically like 2 things. So in general, how did the fundraising go? What strategy did you use to fundraise? Because there are so many ways how we can do it. And what specifically skills do you think were the ones who, the ones that helped you to achieve the round? Those three aspects.
So essentially, I started this process in the following way. So, as I said, I used to run a investment management firm.
Yeah.
One of the departments of the firm was dealing with private equity and venture capital investments.
Okay.
That's how I know a couple of venture capital funds myself. So I reached out to my friends in the industry and essentially asking where I should go
Yeah.
and what people I should talk to. And I was very lucky that essentially, like in a month's time, I got acquainted with Lyart Karashev, who is head of VC at Mount Fund.
Yeah.
And we started the conversation. I mean, we were meeting, I think probably 5, 6, 7 times.
Yeah.
And I was sharing the information, and he was following the company. And once we started our second seed round, which was late January this year, we continued the conversation, and I mean, we're very grateful that they decided to become our lead investor. So with that in place, it became much easier to raise further investments, and we got acquainted by a good friend of mine, Dmitry Mikhailov, who is also one of the investors in the round. He got me acquainted with a platform called Uniborn,
Mm-hmm.
and they essentially so far covered almost the entirety of the remainder.
Okay.
I wanted to add here to what Alexander said.
Yeah.
Of course, these relationships are important, but in addition, we had a tested product. We
Yeah.
presented an MVP, not just some future idea, a fancy idea that the investors should believe in. And I also think that the key to attract good investors is identifying a niche that actually works, the niche that exists, and we were able to actually provide figures, real market opportunities, and I think the investors value that.
Yeah, definitely. And also, don't get me wrong, we did not just have like 2 conversations and we're lucky enough just to get everything sorted.
Yeah.
So we applied a number of like platforms. We also spoke with a number of venture capital funds. So, what I'm just trying to say is that in our case, probably our method was the word of mouth.
Mm-hmm.
So most of all, then you have some LinkedIn connections,
Yeah.
and some people, some people just started to reach out directly themselves,
Mm-hmm.
and then you start the conversation. Some are more interested, some are less interested.
Yeah.
But the vast majority of people, I think, received our product and the idea relatively well. For some funds, it's just very early stage because
Yeah.
we're still pre-revenue. But once and if we have our revenue, hopefully in the second half of 2025, then we will be raising further round and hope that those funds would join in as well.
Perfect. Amazing.
One of the things that makes us stand out is the fact that our product will make an impact, a real impact in the real world. And I think that the investors saw that.
Yeah.
There are many legal tech products in the market at the moment, but because of the niche that we are targeting specifically, and because of the access to justice that we are going to provide, real people will have real successes with our platform.
Yeah.
I think this is what the investors like a lot.
Yeah.
And we like that too. So it's to do something and to get involved into the project, understanding that if it works properly and if we work hard enough to make it work like a Swiss watch, then it's definitely going to change a lot of lives for the better,
Yeah.
resolving loads of problems. And I mean, you can talk to any one of your friends and fellows and your family members. Almost every single one of us, at least once, encountered a situation whereby someone owed you, I don't know, £2,000, £1,000, or I don't know, someone is not returning your deposit, like landlord dispute, for example.
Yeah.
Or your
I mean-
business, somebody owes to your business
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, I think specifically, for example, construction industry, which Ruslan just touched base on. I mean, those guys have problems with deposits, payments, installments all the time,
True.
and
Yeah.
and they unfortunately have no proper way how to resolve those issues efficiently as of
Yeah.
today. And I hope this will change.
Amazing.
I think every industry. I think even fintech companies, banks, utility companies, even government departments have issues with
Yeah.
recovery,
Yeah.
with debt recovery. So mainly, as we established today, our platform is about B2C and access to justice, but business will benefit as well.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's great. On the board, you have both VCs and angels, right? Or just the VCs at the moment? How did the experience differ between the two? Because for me, it was like huge difference. Like we started with talking to angels, and we're in like kind of like recruitment slash like this industry, which sounds like super unsexy. So angels didn't get us like too well. But when we came to VCs, it totally changed because the VCs like they saw the numbers, they saw the economies,
Yeah.
and it worked. How was the
I
experience?
think
for you?
it's pretty similar. We started with an angel, right?
Yeah, look, currently we have more conversations with angels,
Okay.
and I would say more positive conversations with angels, or I would say more like individual investors.
Okay.
Yeah, obviously we have a lead investor,
Yeah.
which is a VC.
Yeah.
But I mean, in my experience, VCs tend to invest when they have revenue in place.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is, I mean, that's exactly the difference between your company and ours. So we're pre-revenue. So I mean, that's probably one of the reasons why we have more positive, I think, conversations with angels. But yeah, both. I mean, both sides received the idea and the company quite well. It's just sometimes a matter of whether you're fitting into certain brackets or not.
Yeah. Okay, makes sense.
Mm.
You Ruslan touched point a little bit on AI empowering people. There is a obviously huge fear in the world that AI is replacing people, taking the jobs away, these kind of things. I know that CaseCraft is positioned more as a co-pilot for people to actually achieve the value. Can you tell a bit about like just your thoughts on this? How do you like deliver this message to people that it's not actually AI replacing lawyers, but it's rather than an assistant? How?
Are you talking about the context of CaseCraft or
CaseCraft.
legal AI in general?
Yeah, I think CaseCraft.
Right. Well, see, CaseCraft is not just for lawyers. I would say it's mainly for consumers, directly
Yeah.
consumers. So essentially, CaseCraft would replace lawyers
Yeah. Okay.
if lawyers dealt with small claims.
Okay. I see.
But the issue is that the lawyers do not tend
Skip.
to like these sort of cases because there's no money
Yeah. Is it currently
for
do
lawyers.
people just do it themselves at the moment?
At the moment, yes,
Okay.
and at the moment they struggle to do it themselves, and a lot of cases go undefended.
Okay, makes sense.
A lot of cases don't even end up in court because people just give up. So we are going to resolve that. So our platform is not replacing lawyers; it taps into the market that is not covered by traditional law firms. But if you're talking about AI, legal AI in general, not a single day goes without me thinking about it. And of course, news like Sky made redundant 8% of its workforce because all the customer service tasks went to AI make me concerned. But again, these are mainly administrative tasks and mundane tasks that are going to be replaced. And to be fair, these tasks are done more efficiently by AI than by humans. However, as I told you in the beginning, I don't believe that AI will replace lawyers, but it will give necessary tools for lawyers to do their job more efficiently. It will enhance lawyers' work and clients' experience. And if you're coming back to CaseCraft, yes, those law firms that previously overlooked small claims will now be able, thanks to CaseCraft, help those clients who come to them naturally because this is somebody they used before for other things. Help those people submit those claims because they're not going to spend that much time handling these small claims, but still providing service, providing value to their existing client base because our platform will enable them to do that.
Yeah. Okay, makes sense. Alexander, any thoughts on this?
Yeah, look, I'm just thinking that it's not the first time in human history when we have this kind of a conversation, whether we are going to be replaced by the machines during Industrial Revolution or by the internet in the late 90s. All the time, that was happening in the following way. So machines did not substitute human beings. Human beings were substituted by other human beings who are capable of using machines. I mean, the same situation with computer and internet. And I think now we just we need to understand that's the new normal. AI is in our lives and it's going to grow and become stronger and bigger. And I think people just need to learn how to use it properly on a regular basis for many, many tasks. And look, when I started using ChatGPT, I was using it probably, I don't know, once in 2 days. Now I'm using it 20 times a day for various situations, whether it's you're trying to come up with a letter to your to your kids' school, which is a big pain for me, and they love long letters, and I don't like long letters. That's how ChatGPT is helping me on a regular basis, for example. And it's one of the hundreds of use cases. And I understand that loads of jobs will change significantly, and maybe we will have less of certain jobs than we have today. But I mean, it wouldn't change the landscape completely. So I mean, even during Industrial Revolution, everyone was thinking, okay, we will be replaced by machines. We have absolutely super high levels of unemployment. And here we are, a century after, we're probably at the lowest rates of unemployment around the world. And then it's what, 8 billion of us now? And it used to be what, 3?
I think thanks to ChatGPT, AI became commonplace and similar. Maybe it's a bad example, but I think it's similar to how people were familiarizing themselves with Google initially, and now everyone's Googling things, and everybody knows how to use Google to their advantage. Same is happening with ChatGPT and other
Yeah.
AI solutions, and they will become more and more commonplace.
Yeah, 100%. It's interesting that like I recently read like I had this like sort of two findings for myself. The first one, it turned out that a lot of our clients they actually find out about companies like ours now through ChatGPT recommendations rather than
Yes.
Google. So they
Yes.
don't. But it's also linked to like SEO optimization, but it's rather popping up in the chat. And the second one, our advisor sent me the statistics recently that actually like the OpenAI reported like how OpenAI was used over the last years, and that the majority of use is actually dedicated to like personal help from ChatGPT, like just chatting to him, like mental support, this kind of thing. And only then it's like business implications. So I expect way more to become on the beat like on the business side.
I believe that's the
Yeah.
trend.
That's true. Okay, cool. Amazing. So my next question is pretty vague. So what's been the hardest decision for you so far since you started CaseCraft? Every founder has this like hard decision at some point that they need to make. Can be in, I don't know, team, can be in, I don't know, fundraising, can be in operations, something else. Was there one for you?
We were lucky in a way that all founders have their areas of responsibility, and everybody has their own expertise in those areas. So I think we were pretty much, everything was smooth
Okay.
amongst us four. As always,
Yeah.
team is the biggest issue.
Yeah.
But again, because we are testing our product on the basis of Sterling Law established team, that smoothed a lot of processes out.
Yeah.
And because we have known each other for a long time,
Yeah.
it made our working relationship smooth. I can't actually think of
Of
any
decision.
huge issues like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, the only thing which is coming to my mind is essentially at the very beginning selecting one of the ideas we had.
Okay, so pivot.
That we spent quite
That's
some
true.
time discussing
Yes.
this
Okay.
because it's not the only like good idea on the table.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I personally believe, and I think we all agreed at some point that this one is the best,
Yeah.
at least generated by us. So that's probably one of the decisions which we had to make, and that wasn't an easy one.
Interesting.
But it proved to be the right one.
right one.
Again, thanks to the energy and time we invested and the figures that we crunched
Yeah.
and the expertise of four of us.
Yeah.
So I think it wasn't a problem, it's just a process. It
Yeah.
was a process.
Amazing.
Yeah, well, it's good decision or not, only time will show. But yeah, we're
Yeah.
all hoping that we're on a good track there.
Yeah. I mean, we also had like I can like myself remember of two like hard decisions that we make. The first one I actually shared with you, Ruslan. I think you remember the first one about the team, because when you fundraise, things slightly change, and you have to take those certain decisions: who to keep, who to let go. And I like this was the most complicated and like most emotional one for me personally.
Yeah.
And then the other one also for the pivot, because in our industry, like people go into very different niches of like recruitment. Someone goes into like in-house recruitment. Someone goes to, I don't know, freelancers. And for us,
Yeah.
it was like also difficult to choose like this specific niche for like on demand for startups.
Yes.
So I think that like roughly similar here.
Yes. See, in my legal career, I got used to selecting lawyers.
Yeah.
That's what I do for a living.
Yeah.
But it's more difficult for me to choose a team member with a tech background because I'm not very
course.
conversant in that side of business. But thanks to my partners and thanks to your company, we're now closer to choosing the right team members on the tech side as well.
We're always happy. Actually, that was my next question. So maybe you can talk us through how did the hiring look for you from the beginning when you just started the company until obviously recently we started working with you. So I know how is it now, but maybe if you can sort of give us the timeline or like talk us through how was it from the beginning. Did you face any challenges like then or something like that?
Yeah, look, I mean, we didn't do much of the recruitment, I would say, because all of the founders, I mean, the vast majority of the work has been, and I would say still is done by the partners, by the co-founders. We were lucky enough to find proper partners for, say, marketing and PR. the company called Rattlesnake. Great guys. We're very much enjoying working with them.
Yeah.
When it comes to development, since Dmitry Bagrov is managing director of Data Art, there was quite a rational thing to hire Data Art, because he was capable of picking and choosing people inside the company to start development process.
Yes.
And then we started discussing how we, I mean, obviously, once we had the bit better version of the platform and we started testing, we were thinking how the composition of the team should change.
Yeah.
Whether we should stick to Data Art, or should we bring in some in-house people. And I think that was a very sensible decision taken by us to go for a what we call hybrid kind of format, whereby we have in-house brains and main functional capabilities, but also we have support of bigger software development firm, which is capable of like picking certain functions which we wouldn't want to hire on a full-time basis.
Yeah.
And that's how we started working with your company.
Yeah.
So thanks to you, we now have our chief technology officer, and so I think we are working pretty efficiently.
Perfect.
There will always be a shortage of good specialists, especially in the area of AI, because it's so new.
Yeah.
But again, thanks to your expertise, guys, and expertise of Data Art, we've resolved that issue.
Yeah. No, we're always glad. I mean, we literally, you mentioned really good thing about the hybrid mode, because that's literally like how we saw the problem in the market, because startups, what they don't want to, they can't hire in-house, especially in the UK. It's too expensive, too inefficient.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you don't want to rely your product on freelancers, right? So,
Yeah.
and you also don't want, the whole company to take over the development when you like sort of don't control, all those things. So the hybrid model is actually, I think, really useful. Proved the same for us and for
Yeah, because it gives you reliability. Why people just do not want to rely on, say, freelancers? Because like they come and go. I mean, be purely, say, a client of a massive software development firm, also probably not the ideal choice, because like, I mean, people also leave. I mean, teams change, etc.
exactly. Yeah.
But then, I mean, if you can afford hiring a proper specialist in-house and then support that specialist with other functions coming from software development firms, that's, I mean, very sensible kind of thing to do. It's cost efficient, and you also have reliability, understanding that, I mean, the brains stay in the company.
Yeah, that's a very good point. True. Okay, and I think just the last question from my side is fast forward looking 5 years ahead. What do you think is the future of legal field with the help of AI? Like how it's going to change in general?
I think AI is going to change the way the lawyers work, and it will change the whole legal market.
Okay.
It's happening now as we speak, and those who do not use AI instruments or build something in-house will be out of business. I think it's a given that AI is going to replace a lot of administrative tasks in the workflow process of any law firm, and it will be not a fancy instrument. It's a must-have tool nowadays that a lot of firms have adopted, and they will be at the forefront of the profession. Those who didn't will be out of business. That's my view.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do completely agree with Ruslan, but I also would add that at some point in time, the governments around the globe will have to incorporate AI in the in the judiciary.
Yeah.
Because like I completely understand how overloaded the judges in the UK and in the US feel themselves.
Yeah.
Because the sheer amount of evidence is growing on a regular basis. If, say, I don't know, 100 years ago, you will have probably a contract, maybe a couple of letters and some oral evidence from the witnesses. Now you have WhatsApps, and you have like emails, you have thousands of documents,
Yeah.
tens of thousands of pages.
In terms of you.
I mean, no human being is capable of consuming and processing that kind of data.
Yeah.
And the judges are unfortunately no different. They're human beings after all. So I think that the governments in the following 5, 6, 7, 10 years will have to come up with a solution which will be enhancing not only the what lawyers are doing, but also what the judges are doing, what clerks are doing.
Yeah.
And maybe we will help. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Of course.
we'll be very delighted to do that.
Yeah, perfect. That's amazing. That sounds like a good ending. Guys, I'll leave all the links and descriptions of CaseCraft and the founders, LinkedIn's, everything in the description of the podcast. And guys, thank you very much for coming. It was my pleasure.
Yeah, likewise. Thanks for having us.
Thank you for inviting.
Thank you.